Hey everyone, I kind of wanted to just record a quick, recap of the Emerald Hills Weapon Master tournament I got to fight in today. And, I really was going out looking to put into use all the things I learned at SKBC and up in Denver at the Iron Mountains practice with Curai and Cord and everyone else I had a chance to fight with. My goals for today were, of course you always want to win, but I was, trying to manage my expectations, and my goals were basically to put the things that I learned to good use, demonstrably like see the benefit from them, not get injured while fighting my hardest, and bracket a tournament. Because my last Emerald Hills event or tournament was at a major kingdom event, and I got blasted out of it. So I didn't know really what to expect this time around. If it was going to be the same, if it was going to be different. Angus, one of the local admins, was telling me that the last EH Weapon Master drew like almost 100 people, and so I didn't really didn't know. Um, so I went out, had to borrow weapons because all of my amp legal gear is broken or left in Colorado right now, and signed up for all the tournaments that I felt like might be fun. I signed up for board, open, closed, and single. Kind of go through those one at a time here. So board, I did pretty well in. I got up to a 5 kill streak at one point. I think. I think it was 5, and got done with it and just felt real medium about the whole thing. Knew that I'd done okay. Had no idea if I had bracketed in it. Uh, had a lot of hard fights. Really got saved a couple of times, like by there was a shot that had me dead to rights that clipped my ear. There was a shot that almost got my forearm that I called hand on and had a arbitrator review. Where I told him like, I'm fighting, I'm juiced up. If you think it actually hit arm, I'll take it. To me, it just felt like hand and a roll off. Um, there were a couple fights that I dropped, mostly due to using borrowed gear. I feel like not being super duper used to it. I was using a couple weapons with big fat grips where I could like get my hand about this far closed on them, and I kind of liked them because it reminded me to like really grip that sword hard, which you think would keep me from dropping it, but that's not what occurred. Definitely dropped that sword a couple of times. One time dropped it, got killed immediately. The second time dropped it, and I took the death on it. Which I guess if I was trying to be a super spiky tournament fighter, I wouldn't have had to. He was letting me recover, but it just felt bad. It felt like dropping your sword feels like it should be a loss in my opinion. Um, and yeah, cut to brackets. I fought Angus in the first bracket. That's where that really close wrist shot happened. I was very fortunate to edge Angus out of it. He was one of the fighters that I was super scared of having to fight just because he's much better than me overall, and we fight each other a lot, and so he knows all my shit. So he was my first bracket fight. Managed to do okay against him. Really cannot remember the rest of the fight super well. There was a dude named Aiden out who I think took it. Either him or my buddy Matt took it. And Aiden really kind of reminded me that I need to find somebody in the fucking state that has a fucking dome shield, so I can just practice fighting it. Like, it's not anything crazy. It's not anything broken. I'm just not experienced, but still managed to snag third in board. Went to open, where you were more than welcome to trade gear between rounds between opponents, and did all right. I fought a mix of my larger shield and a long bat, and matched flow sticks. Did all right. I managed to bracket in that. People were out fighting with flails. In fact, my buddy Matt, who ended up placing in the top three, used flails in both the closed and the open. And I definitely, if I really wanted to win, I probably would too. It's kind of the same effect as dome shields. I feel like just kind of cranked up. Where I don't think like there's anything super crazy or broken about flails, but how often do you fight them? And then when you fight somebody who fights a lot of flail, they really know how to fight flail, or whereas at best, unless you have somebody you spar all the time, it's something that you rarely see. Unless you have somebody you spar all the time who fights flail, it's something that you rarely see. And so had a little bit of issues with that. Managed to bracket, didn't place. Then went to the closed tournament, which I was hoping would be a lot of people's goof off sets. People did not want to goof off. A lot of poles, a lot of great weapons, two different fighters fighting flails. I fucked around on that for a little bit and just decided I wasn't really feeling it. Uh, and then, yeah, in single, they changed it up a little bit. Instead of doing cutting straight to brackets or starting out in pools and cutting straight to brackets, they did it more traditional where you just fight 1v1, best of three. And I managed to kill my first opponent, my buddy Jonesy. And then I lost to Angus and Aiden, I believe, who went on to place in the top three. That's how I did overall. I didn't fight in the Florentine tournament. It's not really my bag. Um, did some ditching afterwards and really feel kind of a complicated mix of emotions about the whole thing. On the one hand, like I got my goals, my floor goals, I would have loved to have won one of the tournaments, but didn't hurt myself, bracketed and placed in one of the tournaments, and you know, I used the things that I learned at SKBC to really good effect. Where I'm holding my shield at, my sword at, my movement, um, preferring my smaller shield most of the time, and so that was all good. But there were so many times where I could not make my body do the things that I need it to do. And there were so many times where I would get hit in one location that should have just been whatever it was, and it ended up being also a kill because it would hit my body as well. Things like there were several thigh shots that would have hit just the front of my thigh if I wasn't, pushing 400 pounds, and instead hit my stomach as well. And, I struggle with depression really hard sometimes, and it's been pretty rough the past few weeks. I feel like I might be on the way out of it, but it's still bad. And, one of the things that I'm most struggling with nowadays is just my self perception. Really not liking my body in a way that I haven't felt probably since I was like going through teenage levels of like, you know, lack of self confidence. But it is just so frustrating, it's so frustrating to be such a big, slow target. And I can fix so many things pretty quickly. Like I can adopt new strategy, I can adopt new gear, I can go to places like SKBC and internalize lessons and come back and put them to good use. But trying to lose like fucking 200 some odd pounds like I really need to. Most days I'm uh I'm able to really feel that all I can do is like I know it's just one day at a time and you do the best that you can day to day, but most days I'm able to really just focus on that, but you get reference experiences like today that happen and it just shows how far there is to go. Um and it's heavy. It's you know, it's it's daunting and it really makes me disappointed in myself for letting it get this bad. And so, yeah, that all was that all's kind of how I'm feeling about it. I know this experience will be good for me in the long run, and I know that. I'll find motivation from this experience in the long run. But right now, it just kind of sucks. And like, I know that a lot of people at Park and who know me, they might kind of have a hard time understanding why I managed to do, I didn't do bad. I did better than most of the other people out there who didn't bracket at all and didn't place in anything at all. It's uh it's really just not about that. It's not about, it's it's hard for me to manage my expectations for myself, and it's hard for me to not ignore my problems, but maybe put them aside for a while so I can do the work I need to sometimes. And yeah, I don't really have a good way to wrap this video up. Um, I am happy with how things went. It just was some painful reminders as well. Yeah, I'm gonna recover for a little bit and probably go to the gym and do some light work and some cardio work and try to feel better. And yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, I hope if you're struggling with anything, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and that's really all you can do.